Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the work session of the October 2019 City Council meeting. As you see the agenda, the only items we talk about is what's on the agenda.
So does anybody have a question about the agenda items that you're allowed to make public comments at this time, just on the agenda? All right, Mr. Gill, go ahead.
Okay, if not, please stand for saying the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stand for prayer.
Father God, we just thank and praise you for this gathering. We ask that you would be among us and that we would operate in unity and fellowship. We ask your blessings on each and every person that's here and those who are on their way. Lord, we come here to conduct your business because you put people in lead positions to govern your people. And we ask your blessings and your direction. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Okay. Roll call, Ms. Jennifer Millender.
Present.
Matt is running late. And Mr. Mayor made his grand appearance. Councilman Walker. Here. Councilman Crowley. Here. Okay, we'll start. Chief Seelock, I guess he got called out, so he's not here. I have a new person here who's been going away for a couple of years on leave. Chief, and welcome back, Chief Dave. Good to be his name.
Good to be back. Really don't have a whole lot to report just yet. One thing I did want to ask you, has Light Up Night been discussed with you guys?
Yeah, I forwarded an email to Ms. Milner.
Okay.
To discuss, I think it's Aliquippa Impact is taking it over, I guess.
Well, that's what you noticed at Franklin Avenue.
Oh, it's saying it.
Yeah, so we'll be all involved in that.
Yes, sir.
And with the big part of the decorations up, we'll be going to Santa thing down there. And I'll be attending some of those meetings. Probably shouldn't get approval though for the date, which is December 5th. That's all I really have. You got one.
Okay, the motion.
6 to 8.
Yeah.
6 to 8. I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Motion to approve Light Up Night for
Thursday, December 5th.
Thursday, December 5th. What are the hours?
6 to 8.
6 to 8. Motion made.
I made it, so I second it.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
That's all I have.
Okay. Moving to Street Department, Mr. Alex Scott.
Nothing reported this time. I'll have the full report at the next meeting.
Next, Ms. Jennifer Miller, Recreation.
Chief and I work hand in hand, and we made an excellent report. He's just returned, and so am I. So, December 5th, Light Up Night.
Okay. December 5th. Okay. Next, code enforcement, Mr. Bavard.
I have nothing to report. I'll have my full report next meeting.
Okay. Going into administration, new business. I have nothing to report. I'll wait till the next meeting. We'll go into our new business. Motion to apply for a tax TAN note. Approval resolution 6 of 2019. In your packet, we discussed at various meetings about this time of year where our cash flow becomes because of deferrals and accruals and those type of expenses. So we're asking to begin the process for authorization for pursuing payment.
I make the motion.
I'll second. Okay, motion made by Councilman Walker, second by Councilman Crowley. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Motion for request by, in your packet was information about a police officer, Austin Krause, asking for 6-month leave of absence. Chief Seeloff just came in, do you want to say anything to that?
Yeah, I did type a letter up for you. I was going to your council meeting. Just recommended it for that 6 months. He was an asset to the department. So hopefully things don't work out for him and it comes back.
Okay, so Dale get a chance, I'll pass on
That's Joe.
I'll pass on the letter to council and staff
Okay.
for next meeting if we need to go into personnel.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What you think?
I talked to Chief about it, and she said he's really done a great job for us and that, so if we have a chance to get him back, I'd like to, because he, they really coached him up to, he's doing a really good job, so, yeah, I'm with him.
Okay, so again, being that it may a personnel issue, I can have the letter sent to you, what he sent me, and at the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Yep.
So it's tabled till next week?
Yes. Motion to approve the handicap parking application submitted by Ms. Burkhardt at 1600 Garfield Street. Jim, you see any problems?
No, I don't see any problems.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Jennifer, second by Mr. Donald, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion for handicap parking application submitted by Kelvin Wayman at 812 Davis Street. Again, James.
I don't see any problems whatsoever.
Okay, motion by Jennifer, second by Donald, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, in your packet, we put together a itinerary for notice for next year's advertisement. You can look it over if you need, or we can vote on it tonight. What we try to do is look forward to next year as far as dates, and make sure we'll run into any type of other dates that might contrast with our meeting dates. So you may want to look at it and approve it tonight, just to see how that fit into the
I vote for approval tonight.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Donald, second by Art, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so what we'll do, we'll just have to be posted in the newspaper prior to next year's for approval. Okay. And the last item, we have a presentation by Holistic Industry by Mr. David Cohen, the Sunrise Organic Wellness, located down from Reese's. We know the landmarks here. So we have Mr. Cohen, who's been living in Aliquippa, basically coming down here back and forth. I love his lifestyle, travel all over the country. All over the world, so.
Well, do the best I can. Starting small and ending big. First and foremost, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and the council members for allowing us to present. I'll keep it real short. Holistic Industries was started in 2011 by our CEO, Josh Anderson. He's come from a family wholesale and storefront liquor business on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. Basically got involved in the cannabis business when D.C. was forming their original medical marijuana regulations, and being that he was a fairly prominent business owner, he had some input. Through that process, was able to apply for and get a grow license in the city of D.C. and has extrapolated that to licenses in Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts, Michigan, primarily medical. And we have been fortunate enough to get a license to put us in Aliquippa, and we're at the 2020 Sheffield Road location, right next to the Quick Stop Bar. Within the plans, you'll see that we have started some significant design work to get a feel for what it should look like and how we want to present to the community. And we are basically here to, like I said, show what we look like. I have our head of operations, our head of retail, Ella, back here, as well as our head of security, Vince Canales. We'll give you a very quick rundown as to what we look like when we're operational and how we address security. And we can take questions as well. And I also have our security consultant here from McMahon Associates, David. Transportation, sorry about that. Sorry, David. If you have any questions relative to that. And with that, I'm just going to hand it over to you. Thank you.
Hi, hello everybody. As I don't want to butcher your last name, but as James pointed out, as it's fancy, we want to create a warm, welcoming, and comfortable environment for all of our patients here in Aliquippa. We're planning on opening with around 12 employees. That's including our general manager and assistant general manager. about 8 full-time and 4 part-time employees. We have average hourly wages of about $16 an hour with a gross payroll of over $420,000 a year. All full-time employees are eligible for benefits, health, dental, at the first of each month, and then all employees do participate in our bonus pool as well, so that can also equate for about 2 weeks of wages in addition to their hourly pay. I will pass on to Vince.
Wow, that was a quick version here. Hello, I'm Vince Canals. I'm actually the Director of Security here for Holistic Industries. A little bit about me, 21-year retired veteran of the Police Department of Prince George's County down in Maryland. Actually currently the Maryland Fraternal Order Police President, so I represent about 21,000 law enforcement officers in the state of Maryland. Serve on the National Board of Directors as well. I'm very familiar with Lesson area and the crew up here in Pennsylvania and have a good working relationship with them as well. Security, we've been involved in this industry with Holistic since they started in Maryland. We provide security now in primarily just about every facility that's come online in Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts, and started doing some work out in California and in Michigan coming up soon. We've watched this thing unfold from kind of the ground up, and we've been involved in medical programs from the beginning, so we understand what the needs are and how strict and how being regulated those programs have to be. We hire retired law enforcement officers primarily. We then look for military personnel who are looking for employment. And then after that, we're looking for guards who have at least 5 to 10 years of other experience as well to bring them in the program itself. Because it's a medicinal program, I mean, we constantly are staying on the evolving rules because they are always changing. We make sure from a security standpoint, every place we've gone, a lot of the questions and concerns that have always come up, traffic, individuals loitering, how do you prevent people from using on the premises or around the facilities. In a regulated program, especially a medicinal program, there are ways to basically, if an individual's an habitual offender, to basically have their card and their license revoked and have it pulled. What you'll find in the medicinal programs, though, these are individuals who actually want this as medicine. Very seldom do we wind up having anything outside of maybe a warning. And the worst issue that I think we've ever gotten into with anybody at any of our facilities, we've had no problems with regards to break-ins, thefts, robberies, or anything like that. The biggest issue is an individual who says, I was close to my allotted amount, I believe I didn't go over, and we're telling them, no, you went over this month and you gotta wait until, until next month. Outside of that, the majority of these individuals that are part of the program are good actors. We attempt to be the best actor possible. Holistic Industries goes over and above with regards to security and how they implement and use what they do. I mean, there's really no requirement within any of the regulations for physical security, actually having guards. Holistic believes it's necessary to have at least 1, if not 2 on property to ensure that situations where somebody's loitering, individuals who may use on the property, things of that nature can be dealt with immediately. You also get a face, so we'll have a lead that any question that comes up with regards to any security issues or concerns, you can reach out to us directly and we'll get right on it to ensure that we don't have any problems. We look forward to working with the chief and his men and women, as well as the fire department. We opened up the facility in a couple of locations. We had offered satellite offices, saying, hey, you guys can come and write reports here if you want. Of course, they didn't take us up on it, but we try to be as open and transparent as we can be. And we work directly hand in hand with public safety to the best of our abilities as well. And with that, I can keep running my mouth, but I'm still keep it short. So if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Okay. If we may,
Yes.
Timeline, what are we talking about when you?
Ideally, we're gonna be starting construction, I think, end of November. That has not been set in stone yet. We just had to get the final asbestos report to the contractor and make sure everything's clear. And then I think we're targeting end of February completion, beginning of March, ideally. Subject to design or construction.
So you'll be reaching out to Mr. Lawton as far as for the plan and.
Yeah, as things, I mean, you want me to be here every month as an update, I'm happy to do that too. I mean, I will keep you guys fully abreast of what's going on.
My only concern with again was about the residents around the area, that we're notifying them of what's about to come, and they have a chance to address any issues, concerns about traffic going and from, coming to and from that place. you know, just, because I don't know if you did that, or you guys reached out and had a meeting with them, or?
We have not yet. We do have a traffic report that we actually made available for the city as well.
Okay.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was a negligible impact with medical programs. So, that kind of is, you know, one of the outcomes of the report, but it needs to be available.
Yeah, just, I mean, if you can forward the report to us, I mean, it's something that can be visible for public knowledge, just so people can see what the intent is and where they're gonna go, so we can eliminate that as a factor.
Absolutely.
Just so you can address those issues, so if we have to let the people know, because most of them is half of it's Aliquippa, half of it's Hopewell, so you got two municipalities in that one little four-corner, four-way intersection, so. But,
And I want to be remiss because I sort of felt like this was the opportunity to have people come to the meeting, let them know. Now, if a broader, as the mayor mentioned, a broader audience, you know, we can go there, but we're just trying to follow the protocol here by having you here to present. We know we have concern about the traffic and the traffic study and so forth, and I want to make sure council was made aware, so at the next step through the planning process, we're reaching out to let the public, our public know what's going on.
With as much information, with as much updated information that we can
yeah,
get.
and as much as possible.
So my question is, why that location, probably less than half a mile from the elementary school? I just want to know, because that's going to be probably your most predominant question, is why there, and maybe not down here or somewhere further away, like Kennedy Boulevard or that location?
I was not part of the process of selecting locations. When you apply for a license, you have to apply with a specific location. And the way I understand it is that Pennsylvania Department of Health will award you a license with one specific location, in this case Aliquippa, and then two more locations to be cited. And this location, I think, as far as why it was selected, I was not part of that team.
Okay.
So I can't say I can tell you why, and I'll give you an answer. But when they did select it, and when PADOH said this is the one to go, getting them to move that location is difficult.
No, because your biggest gripe and your biggest fight is going to probably be because it's an air-eye shot of the elementary school down the road there.
Yeah.
With a church, with two grounded churches on either side of that Kennedy Boulevard corridor, and plus the Greek Orthodox Church. And I think your biggest fight would be that. You know, when you have residents that come to your next meetings or further.
Not right on. You been to the site yet? Have you been to the The intersection is very tight, very tight through there. I mean, and so there is going to be issues with traffic and stuff. But I do know why they chose that, because it is centrally located between three communities.
Directly off 376.
Between Aliquippa, Hopewell, and Central. That's perfect
Directly
location.
off of 376.
No question, right off 376.
And if I can, just to add some, as you're going through some of the thought process on this as well, this is not a recreational market here.
Right.
So what you're talking about is an additional program in and of itself that we find.
So you would know who would come.
We know, so we'll be able to deal with the other thing as well, with the way that site was also selected. There's a portion of that building that's going to actually be demolished. There's going to be a lot more parking on the facility and on the premise site itself. Which will also kind of alleviate the idea of anybody parking on the side of the road and preventing that. So the residents aren't impacted as far as that's concerned. So I mean, with the medicinal program, it's a lot easier to control and regulate and move it. The other thing as well with the school issue or anything, within the medicinal programs themselves, you're not allowed to utilize or consume while you're on property. You're supposed to take it home. An individual who utilizes or is found to consume anywhere outside of getting it to their property, it's in violation of the program. If we become aware of someone being in violation, normally there may be a first time, hey, we know you did it, stop, don't do it again. The next round is you're going to get reported to the Department of Health, and the Department of Health will.
So that's not a partnership between the departments, you hope on now, could be key. And then, again, so when people say about traffic, I mean, it's minimum at best. I mean, it could be possibly minimum at best. In a day,
what's the average day?
What's the average day look like for
traffic?
So based on trip generation, you're seeing in the peak hour on a weekday, you're only going to see about 16 customers.
Okay.
So about 32 trips, in and out.
Okay.
On a Saturday, it's a little higher. It's about 27 customers in
What
the
are
peak
your-
hour. And it's
what
about,
are What are your hours of operation?
We haven't determined yet. My guess will be similar to one,
I mean, probably to start, we'd probably do like a 10 to 6, 10 to 8, just depending on the comp set that we complete.
Weekends will probably be a little bit longer, maybe.
Maybe, we actually
I
see
wanna
you
ask-
extend
I wanna
out
ask
on
a
weekends,
bonus
we don't
question.
see increased traffic. But we would probably start around like a 10 to 8 is normally my comfort. So
Okay,
we
Donald asked a question in regards to that site. Donald,
Yeah.
If you recall,
Yeah,
there was several applications
Right.
submitted.
Right.
There was like, it might have been like 15, 16
Right. Yeah.
applications submitted. And as you know, we're promoting our downtown area. We thought it was a nice location right off of State 51 down that area. As you know, the mayor and I so further talked about. But we just, 6 o'clock in the morning, it was on the news, internet, that location.
Yeah, no, I remember the whole steps to it. I'm just prepping y'all because I know what the customers, I know I've already received, this question of why that's the location, why is it there?
As long as you know the distance between how many cars that are coming in a day, I think that's the spell the rumor about traffic. That's
How
what
about, let me ask you this, I know where the location is. Right across from the street from there is a lot. And I'm pretty sure that the lot goes with that building. Will you be using that as a parking lot?
That's not our lot. In fact,
That's owned by the guy who owns the park.
It's Hopewell.
Yeah.
That's in the town.
That's Hopewell, yeah.
Oh, that's not us.
No.
I do want to emphasize that whatever it is that we want to be good neighbors, because we know we're part of a residential neighborhood.
And I also wanted to say too, like, I'm a teacher at elementary school. Can it be a pause period? Like from 3:30 to 4:30, we have pause where there's no business focus. That's when the kids get out. I know it's in the real true world that might not be a good idea, but I'm just as working in elementary school, like somewhere be a pause, like 3:30 to 4:30, where you won't see that traffic or that. Not saying that we focused on, but I know that's the people who live around there. They're gonna be focusing on y'all.
Yeah.
And probably for the next 8 months to 12 months, they're gonna probably like. He probably reckon he came from there, and he probably came from there. So, you know what I'm saying? Is there any way we, as a stopgap, is there something that we can look at later on in the future that maybe come back to revisit as far as maybe a pause, or 3:30, 4:30?
What I can tell you
Because
is
we do have a lot of walking kids.
from a security standpoint, what we could probably do is ensure that the guards know during those hours to make sure that they're maybe standing out in front of the building to make sure that doesn't happen, that when the kids are coming after school. We can put some policies in place that may not stop the business from running, but that we can ensure that they're being vigilant, that any kids coming through aren't being impacted in any way.
And some of our busiest hours are after school hours, because obviously a lot of people in this medical program are parents themselves. So we actually see most of our traffic either prior to work hours in the weekdays or after 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
And the individuals who are putting in for these programs are individuals who want the medicine. That's, they want to be a part of the program. The last thing they want to do is be in violation. And once you're out of it, the ability to get back in is a lot more difficult at that point in time. So, there is that hammer, that ultimate hammer that you have over
You lose your rights. And that's what I mean. I think you probably put emphasis on about, look, if violence will be prosecuted, this is what could potentially happen to you. So that'll be all mapped out to anybody that probably comes through that door.
We pride ourselves on having some of the best security. I mean,
Well, all on that video, sure.
yeah,
And
exactly.
that's just it. As you see on some of these, we've got like 40 some odd cameras. We have about 8 to 10 on the exterior. And these are high definition cameras. We know if they say it's a gray vehicle, black male that got in a gray vehicle, we can probably at this particular date and time, we can find
Will
it.
our police have access to those? Is it possible?
With other agencies that we work with, anytime they wanted anything from us, they have the ability to come ask for us. We provide video footage. We've helped solve a few crimes actually that weren't related to the cannabis industry, some other things that happened in DC. In Massachusetts, we've had some requests for us to do some speeding and robbery issues that were going on in a mass location that was away from us, but the main thoroughfare came by our building, so we were able to pull video footage and provide it to them. So we're more than happy to do whatever we can to assist.
And also access cameras on the sides of the building, front,
Front,
so you
back.
see anything coming.
Page 8, I think in there, if you go to it, it shows a lot of the cameras. There you go, the backside shows, those are the exterior, the sides and everything else. And if we need to add more, we will.
No. In the depth of field, you got the trees and something around, you probably want to get the roads anyway.
A lot of that stuff is going to probably, if it's on site, once they take down the side of that building and open up the parking lot area, we'll get a lot clearer as far as.
It'll be well lit.
Yeah, around that building, it'll be extremely.
And obviously, there's no seeing inside the buildings as well as part of the reg, so there's no seeing in. We do try to keep it, I like your word fancy, I'll keep going with it, but we do try to keep it very clean, and we'll do our best as employees at the store as well to clean up trash outside of the building if there is any, and just make sure we are as the best neighbors that we can
And
be to the
even with-
local residents nearby.
And even with regards to advertising, you're not seeing a big marijuana leaf sitting on anything. I mean, you've got angel wings sitting on something.
Yeah.
We're going to Indian feathers.
So there you go, more Indian feathers, there you go.
Now, so the bar, I know the discussion you made,
Yeah, they're operating still. They had, they can operate from a year from when we closed on the property, and that's where they are right now. And they understand that they're fully aware. And at the
Well-
end, when they're no longer operating, what are they gonna do with the space?
Yeah.
TBD, we don't know.
Okay.
Okay, but it's, right now, we're not designing our store incorporating that space, because the bar is operating. At some point, maybe we do, but we just don't. It's one of those things, let's get open first and then circle back at the appropriate time.
And Ms. Ellis, my question for you.
Yeah.
Hiring process, how is that, what's that gonna look like?
So we're going to do our very best to hire within the local community. So we'll post up advertisements specifically to the Aliquippa area, and our HR team will then do screening. I will be out here doing in-person interviews. We might even hold like a small job fair, but we'll really, really try to hire from within Aliquippa before we see.
I would say any assistance that we could offer as far
That
as.
would be fantastic.
Job training.
When we get closer to that time, I would love to be able, maybe through David, reach out to you guys and just see how we could post up any jobs. I mean, we're gonna be looking for a GM and AGM leads. I mean, we're gonna be hiring from the start, so there's gonna be a good 12 jobs right off the bat.
So you said eight full-time and then 4
8 full-time, that would be including the AGM and GM, and then 4 part-time employees with the potential to go to full-time, and that's just to start. Obviously, depending on volume, we would increase the staff
And what
accordingly.
would be an hourly rate for someone that got hired there?
So the average hourly wage for an hourly employee would be around $16, but our managers start with salaries of around $50,000 and above.
Okay.
Are you operating anywhere else in PA?
Yes, we're actually in Philadelphia, we're in Cruztown, Norristown, Ben Salem area, and our grow facilities in Newcastle. So we're on this side of town as well, so.
Contact us.
And as far as employment is concerned, it's another 6 to 8 security positions as well that'll be opened up. Those normally go through Indeed, but if there's a point
You
of
said like
contact.
military, you got some military.
Oh, yeah, military
Okay.
individuals, you know, individuals who are working security at some other spots with some experience.
Yes, sir.
We're looking for good people, especially good people who live in the community. It makes it a lot easier for us to work and deal with any issue that pops up if you know the face that you're dealing with for the most part. So retired guys who, you know, still want to be out here and be active, so.
Thank y'all for coming, I appreciate it.
appreciate you.
Thanks for having us.
I really do.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
We just don't want you to take all our police.
I don't think I'm paying this.
He was sitting on that. He was sitting on that.
But we're working on
This is all being here, and some of the questions is, like, we kind of, what we all kind of question is kind of what you're gonna hear from the public. So just get your head around that, why the choice of the site, you know, what does the building look like with the facades and things like that. I think we as the community people here, we kind of grudge you on it, so I think that's what you're gonna get hit with the most.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but if you be transparent, if you have a public meeting, like we kind of have one with O'Reilly here that's trying to come out as well. If you have that public meeting where you discuss what's going on and you know, you are aware of the pitfalls that are going to be coming, and then you present it to the public, they should welcome it up in arms as well too. I think.
Y'all have been transparent, but
Right.
every recommendation we've asked for.
Most
The
everybody.
only thing I can tell you, my biggest concern is just make sure we identify and notify all the people in that area, so they understand what's going to happen next. You know, what's going to happen next, you know, would you, because it's private, people don't, I want to understand it's a privately sale between 2 individuals. It's not something that was publicly put to the city, so that needs to be clear.
Well, the biggest thing is zone.
It's zoned, and it's zoned for what it needs to be zoned for it to happen that way.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go anywhere through anybody to do something. Besides, you have to deal with PennDOT and some other things, but for the most part, deal with Jim about how things are gonna be. But just the transparency as far as conversation is what I'm concerned, that's all I'm concerned about.
Especially in this
Just
position.
making sure we, you know, just talking to people, let them know what's about to happen next. What's the steps that's gonna happen next? What's it gonna look like when you hire somebody? And, you know, the concern about how many people gonna come in and out of that place on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, month-to-month basis.
Okay, absolutely.
Thank y'all.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your both. Thanks, Vince, Ava. Thank you.
So if there's not anything else,
Well, there is one other
Thing.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
Our I want you to know the letters you received from Marshall Benny today, we are involved, of course, with a lawsuit with one of the ex-police officers. That letter just outlines you are not to destroy emails, because there is e-discovery now. So anything that's on Facebook, or these, so just don't delete accounts, don't get rid of those kind of things, don't throw away any paper. That's the only thing. Now, Sam and I met with them today for about, I'd say 3 hours to handle the answer or preliminary objections to that complaint. We also have another complaint, which is by a pro se individual, which, I mean, I'm named as a defendant, so I don't have any idea what that is, but, and the last thing is tomorrow, Mayor, we're going to have a meeting with Mr. Masnick and Sam and you and I about, we want to talk for finance. That's all I have, thank you.
Okay? Nothing else?
Is council okay with doing the declarations the 18th of November?
You tell us, that's what you want to do?
With light up night, it's gonna go Thanksgiving and then light up night.
All right, so you just a date. I'll make a motion for, you just go ahead and do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do.
Okay. Shut up. At this time, motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
I second.